this is the second part in the 3-part series where I'm teaching you how to trade stocks as a beginner. And today I'm going to be focusing specifically on how to trade chart setups as a beginner. Now, if you haven't seen part 1 of this series, make sure to go and check that out. But when it comes to trading, you need what is called a playbook. Now, a playbook is essentially a journal or a log where you keep track of the different trade opportunities that you are looking for on a chart. So when it comes to my playbook, I trade setups, and based off of that chart, there are going to be different setups that you're going to look to trade. So those setups will be in your playbook. And when it comes to my playbook specifically, I have about 6 different setups. 3 to 4 of them I'm trading pretty regularly right now. And the setups that I have in my playbook are going to allow me to both go long and short on a chart. So no matter what the market conditions look like, I can capitalize on that movement. For example, last year, one of my most traded setups inside my playbook was my pullback play. Now, that setup yielded a 90% return for me last year. However, this year, because of current market conditions, I am having a harder time identifying that pullback play on charts. Less charts are presenting what I look for technically when it comes to that pullback play setup. However, my overbought and overextended setup that last year I only traded a couple times. Now this year is one of my most traded and most profitable setups. I'm going to give you examples of what these setups are. If you didn't watch part 1, like I said, you might be a little lost, so make sure to go ahead and do so. But we went over in part 1 what my setup looks like as far as Thinkorswim, how I've got my broker set up, the different moving averages that I do utilize and trade, and then looking at the chart, we talked about time frames and specifically how I am a swing trader. So say I enter a position today, I'm going to be holding that on average the next 3 to 5 days. Now, the setup that I'm going to be covering today is going to be my overbought and overextended setup, as I just mentioned. I'm sitting, when looking back at my last 2 years worth of trades, so the last 2 years that I have traded this overbought, overextended setup, I'm sitting at a 90% win rate. Actually, to be exact, it's a 90.41% win rate. So that means that this setup, okay, based off of current market conditions, market correlation when it comes to a chart, identifying the trend, the patterns within that trend, and looking at these moving averages as, like I said, reference points and ways to find or identify the setup in the first place. Well, this actually is a setup that you will find on a bullish chart, but you are shorting that chart. So I'll show you a couple examples here, and hopefully you can take this setup and start implementing it into your trading. But before that, I just want to take a quick second to talk about how I decided to approach the markets, because there are many different vehicles and ways in which you can go about investing or trading with your capital. Now, I trade options specifically. Now, options, if you don't know, essentially gives you the ability to leverage your money 100 to 1. So what I do is I buy an option contract. Now, that option contract is equivalent to 100 shares of that stock. So what that means is, yes, there is inherently more risk involved when trading naked options. That means I'm buying a call, betting on the direction of a stock to go up, or I'm buying a put, betting on the direction of that stock to go down. So I'm not actually covering, I'm just trading naked calls and puts. I'm not buying credit spreads or debit spreads. I have always approached trading in the simplest means possible. I've kept it very straightforward. That is just kind of my personality, and what clicked well for myself was trading options. Now, options are great because if you don't have a lot of capital, you can still make a substantial amount of money. For someone, say the average person only has $500 to put into their trading account, well, you might only be able to buy a share or two of a stock and only can capitalize on the movement and make money if the stock goes up, right? If you buy a share and the stock goes down, well, then you lose money. And stocks don't move all that much relatively when we're talking about a week or a couple day swing period. So say you could buy 2 shares of a stock and in a week or two, that stock only moves 2%. Well, on your $500, you can see how you're not going to be able to make that much money. Whereas when it comes to options, you have essentially just leveraged your capital. You're able to make exponentially more with very little money in your portfolio. Now, through my teaching, specifically over inside my mentorship group, I put an emphasis on the importance of risk management, because when you are trading or essentially leveraging your money through options, like I said, this new added degree of risk is going to come into play where your money is going to face bigger upswings and downswings. I'm trying to put this in the simplest way as possible. So you have to be even more diligent to manage risk correctly. So realize that options is a great route to go if you don't have much capital to trade with, but you need to understand that risk management is vital in your success as a trader. So like I said, I swing trade options, and I really think swing trading options is the most efficient and effective way to grow your capital in the markets. So that means if you don't have much time to trade, if you don't have much capital to trade with, well, then swing trading options, just as I trade, might be the right move for you. Now, if at the end of this video you like the way I teach, you like myself maybe as a person, if you want to go explore the YouTube channel further, highly recommend you do so. I put out a lot of great content, educational, and just showing you what my life is like as a full-time trader. But if you want to, take my direction, follow along, and see how I am as a mentor, effectively applying everything that I've learned over the last 6 years to help yourself become a consistently profitable trader. Well, what I've actually done is I've put together a mentorship group, and in that mentorship group, you're going to gain access to a curriculum covering my entire trading system, the strategies I teach as far as charting, technical analysis, risk management, as I mentioned, which is vital in your success, and trading psychology. Not to mention, I've decided to put myself out there, put myself on the line. Very few people do this. I actually share the exact trades that I am taking. So when I go ahead and enter a position, when I buy some option contracts, betting on a stock to go up or down, I will go ahead, I'll post that to my mentorship group. I'll explain my idea behind the position, why I'm actually entering, and I'll give you the exact contracts that I'm purchasing. So you'll have the ability to essentially follow along and copy my trades if you so desire. Now, I have to legally say that I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give any financial advice. So, nothing I say in this video or within my mentorship group should be taken as financial advice. I can just share with you what I'm doing and what works for me, and then you're essentially able to follow along and mimic what I do if you so desire. I'm either making money or losing money, so I'm fully transparent. But if that's of interest, all you have to do is click the first link in the description below. Now, it is application only, and we only allow a certain amount of students each month. So if you'd like to apply, go ahead, click the first link in the description below, hit the apply now button, and fill out that application, and someone from my team is going to reach out with more info. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to dive into this trading setup that has yielded a 90% win rate for myself over the last 2 years. All right, so step one is going to be first pull up whether it is the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, the Russell 1000. You want to go through a couple hundred stocks, and what we're going to be doing is visually scanning and looking for a chart that is sitting at an all-time high. Now, I'm looking at the 4-hour time frame. I'm looking back 180 days. We want to see a chart that recently just formed a new all-time high, because the idea here is that we're looking to capitalize on the movement, the retracement. So we're buying puts, we're betting on the price to go down, we're betting on the price to move off of that all-time high down to a support level. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've pulled up my trading journal. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of the trades that I've taken this year. All of these posted inside my mentorship group, specifically the overbought, overextended setup. Okay, so ticker symbol META. You could see right here, if we punch in a bit, 318.68 was the new all-time high on the 4-hour over the last 180 days, which was just formed that same trading day, right? This is a screenshot right before I entered. You can see we are steadily trading above the 50-day SMA, okay, small retracements with bounces off this level, forming higher highs. Okay, so overall trend is bullish from bottom left to top right. We can see the pattern is higher highs, We have this 50-day SMA that has been respected. We've got, several tests of this level further confirming that this level is going to be acting as support. And then you can see the chart just recently made a new all-time high. Okay, so that's kind of a little checklist, right, that we're going to go along every time we're pulling up these charts as we're going through. Like I said, S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, whatever it is, we're looking to check off all of this criteria. So we've identified this overbought, overextended chart. Now it is time to go about setting our stop loss and our take profit. Okay, when it comes to setting your stop loss with an overbought, overextended, it is very easy because you just use that all-time high as the reference point. So if this chart breaks above that all-time high, okay, at 318.68, well, that is where we're getting stopped out. Okay, so that's why I said the more tests of this level, well, that's going to further tell us that that level is going to act as a stronger resistance. In this case, we did only have one test on the day, so that just has to be taken into consideration. Now, when it came to looking at, well, where are we going to actually take profit, right? We want to set the most realistic profit target. Looking at the pattern here that has been formed, looking at this moving average being the 50-day SMA, well, we can see this level has acted as a very strong support level. So we can look to see a move back down to that 50-day SMA and more than likely, right, judging by the overall pattern, a bounce off that level. So I went ahead, I set my stop, okay, at 318.68, the all-time high on the 4-hour, and I set my take profit at 303.70 on the 50-day SMA. I then entered this position, okay, after running through the risk to reward factors, making sure that this was a trade that I could put on, posted that inside the mentorship group. I'll show you my call out actually. You can see, okay, there's a kind of bigger picture of the overall trend. Meta was forming a very, very clear and clean chart with this very consistent pattern. So I explained the entry behind this position as I just did to you. I bought up the Meta August 18th, 2023, $320 puts at $2,057 a contract, or $20.57 in option terms. Posted that out to the group. And then look at this. The next day, market opened. Meta started selling off. It was down 3%. Absolutely tanked back down to that 50-day SMA. Okay. And I locked in 19.54% profit on this position, which was equivalent to $9,000, almost $10,000 in profit. So there we go. One trade on an overbought, overextended chart yielding a almost 20% return, making me $10,000. But let me show you another example. I just pulled up my journal. Here you go. Another trade I took on Coinbase. Okay. You can see this is a much choppier chart. Unlike Meta, the direction here, even though it was clear in the more immediate term, when you look at the bigger picture, we've seen a lot of chop, not as clean of a chart as I'd like to see. Like I said, it's easier to essentially set those levels as far as your stop loss and your take profit when that chart is clear and when moving averages are more respected. But you can see coin had just made a new high at 92.15. Okay. The 15-day EMA since breaking above. Right here, you can see candles were able to push and break above the 15-day EMA. We saw retracements back to that level with bounces as we continue forming higher highs into that all-time high. Okay, so coin was sitting up about 10% on the day, looking very overbought and overextended as the setup is named. And if I pull up the mentorship group, you can see the call out I posted saying coin was up 10% on the day. Obviously, the new all-time high at 92.15 was formed, and the chart presented that overbought, overextended setup I was looking for. And then I went ahead, bought the August 18th $85 coin puts at $875 a contract. Now, let's see the next day. The market opened and coin was down 5%. Okay, sold right off of that high. You can see our entry the previous day and right back into the 15-day EMA, which was my target, again, for where I was looking to take profit. So hopefully this is all starting to come together. I made 17.71% on that trade, which was equivalent to $7,500. So there's two examples of the overbought and overextended setup, which yielded about $17,000 in profit for myself. I hope everything is really starting to come together. I wanted to cover how to actually go about purchasing the option contracts and how I made that decision on which contracts to purchase. However, I think we're going to have to wait until the next video to cover that. I hope you guys did take away some value. Like I said before, if you guys are interested in learning more about my mentorship group, click the link below. You can go over to the website and see the details as far as what you will gain access to after you apply and are accepted. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Do not forget to subscribe for part 3 on how to trade stocks as a beginner. I'll see you in the next one. Later.